What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? You know what time it is? Thugbirds Podcast. We got episode 54 up in the mix. We got Kid on the Phoenix on today's episodes. Before we get started, you know what time it is. If you got yourself an iPhone and or an Android, do yourself a favor and go to the App Store and or the Play Store. Download the FTX app and stay up to date with the latest cryptocurrencies and NFTs. Without further ado, I'm your host, Gaddis TV. What's going on? And let's get to it. All right, and we are live and direct. So first off, kind of saying beforehand, Kid on the Phoenix, thank you for coming on, and thank you for taking some, I think it's evening where you're at right now, so taking some time out of your evening and coming on. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
So for kind of some of the people that will know, I guess some people will know you, some people won't. Just kind of a little background on kind of who you are, what got you, I guess, interested in kind of crypto in general, kind of what you were doing before crypto, and have you always been an artist? And if not, when did that start?
Yeah, it's been a long journey for me. I found out about crypto many, many years ago in my previous life. I was a junkie for 20 years. I was a heroin and a meth addict. And through my years of addiction, it led me into a lot of dealing, criminal lifestyle. And that became an addiction in itself. And as a drug dealer, I was introduced to Bitcoin through some nefarious purposes for using it. And so I knew what it was, but I didn't know what it was because I mean, I had no idea what it actually stood for and what it meant on an ethos level or a philosophical or economical level. Yeah, nobody ever took the time to actually educate me on that. I just thought it was like some internet money you used for things you weren't supposed to. Fast forward, many years later of just turmoil and like destruction in my life, and I ended up getting incarcerated, and I was gone. I lost about 5 years of my freedom total, and throughout that time, I spent a lot of time educating myself, trying to understand what was going on with me while I was making those decisions, how I could better my life, how I could better myself. And through that journey, it led me to, blockchain, crypto, how to think long term, all of these skills that I never utilized before. Because in my old life, it was just, okay, what can I do today to make me feel good right here and now and forget tomorrow because I don't even plan to be alive, and that's how I live my life. And now learning about crypto, it's kind of got me thinking long term always. Like, you have to think what's going to happen 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. How can I build a better future? How can I build a legacy for my family? How can I have sustainable growth? All of these things. But yeah, so I read a lot. And when I was locked up, I read nonstop, just learning about Austrian economics, blockchain technology. I studied, Hal Finney, Vitalik, some of the other early goers. Yeah, there's many names there, but I studied that. And so when I got out, I left the jail cell in March of this year with nothing but the clothes I had on my back. So it hasn't even been a year since I've been released. And I immediately got two jobs and started saving up everything I could for crypto and investing and learning as much about it as I could, starting with Bitcoin. And then immediately, let's say like April, into April, I discovered Solana, and
Mm-hmm.
just everything from just going to the website and even looking at the user interface and then seeing how fast it was and doing all these things. I was immediately enthralled by it, and I was like, this is going to be good. So, I would throw like a couple $100 every 2 weeks at it, and that was just all I had. But then at the same time, I fell in love with painting, and I just every second of free time I had, I'd paint. Doing fluid abstract art, and it was like therapy for me. It's really hard to get me to focus on things. It's really hard to get me to pay attention. And yeah, this when I'm painting, like nothing else matters, and it's like therapy for sure. And it makes everything go away. And I love to create something, and it's beautiful to take an empty canvas and make it something that you love looking at. And so when I found out about NFTs, it was kind of like, I'll be honest with you, at first I thought it was ridiculous. My mom was actually the first person that told me I should start doing it. She saw
Yeah,
Beeple sell
shout
for
out mom.
69 million, you know, and yeah. And she was like, you need to do this. And I was like, no, I don't know how to do that. That's probably a scam. You know, I couldn't wrap my mind around art in the form of NFTs. But just like I couldn't with Bitcoin at first, I think it's tough conversations. I think it's tough for
Hmm.
us as people to wrap our mind around these emerging technologies. And that's why I always emphasize to be really patient with people who haven't yet wrapped their mind around it, because I think we were all there at one point. When I have the conversation with NFTs and crypto with people, I don't expect them to be on my level right away. Like it's a process. You have to plant the seeds and water them a little bit, you know, before they grow up. It took me 10 years almost, for crying out loud, to finally like get it. And so with NFTs, yeah, I was like, okay. And then I'll be honest with you, what it really was I started to look at it from an investment standpoint. And my very first NFT purchase was a Cyber Samurai. It's an NFT project on Solana, co-founded by a guy named Shake Dude. And I would blow up his DMs like, "Hey, dude, how do I do this? I don't know how to buy an NFT, blah, blah, blah." And he actually would respond to me and be like, "Hey, okay, cool. Let me show you how." And I told him my story a little bit, and he told me, like, he was like, 3 months ago I was driving DoorDash, and I get it, and I used to be an addict, and now I'm like leading this project, and then his project sold out like that day, and man, it was just, I was like, wow, this is really cool. And he was kind of my first impression, and I think the Solana ecosystem as a whole is really representative of how he is, like really helpful. You know, like people take
Hmm.
the time out of their day,
100%.
they'll DM you back, you know, they'll retweet your art, you know, they'll tell you what's up, you know. That's just what you find on Solana. And so that started my journey, and I started investing in some NFTs. I had no idea what I was doing. I bought the top on a few things. I got rugged on Eternal Beings. You know, I learned some lessons the hard way. Like, and it was a really unfortunate timing because I was like a month too late on the SMBs and the Thugbirds. You know what I mean? Like they were already kind of going up and a little bit out of my price point, and I saw it happening, and I was like, man, if I would have just been a couple weeks sooner, you know. But but fortunately, somewhere along the way, I had the sense to start actually creating my own art, and the Cyber Samurai team really pushed me to do that. And I started dropping some NFTs, and they started selling, and I was like, "What? This is crazy!" Because I never sold any art in the traditional art world. Never. I knew nothing about it. Like, I mean, I was a musician for years, so I've always been an artist, but I never like sold paintings. Um, but yeah, people started buying my NFTs, and like people like, I'll tell you a quick story. I was about to go to a movie with my friends, go see Dune, which was regrettable for me. Um, like 3 hours at a movie with my attention span, no way.
I feel you on
But it
that
didn't
part.
help because right before we're gonna go to the movie, I get a notification, and Celon had bought one of my pieces and tweeted it on there. And I remember I ran downstairs and I was like, "Ah," you know, because I've been in the space long enough to know, like, you know, this dude's a pretty big deal, you know, like Celon's a
And that was
legend
your
in
first
Salon.
piece?
That now wasn't my first
Okay,
piece
okay.
sold, but that was like the first one where I was like, this dude's got a huge following, because then immediately people started following me, like
Hmm.
tons of people following me, and then people were buying my art more and more. The first piece I ever sold as an NFT was actually not mine. It was this girl that I onboarded, who's an excellent artist. Her name is Technically Dead. And now I'm jumping around a little bit, but this is important because part of my mission is onboarding artists. And so I onboarded her. I found her on a graphic design website, and she was like looking for work. And I hit her up and I was like, "Do you know what NFTs are?" And she's like, "No." I was like, "Do you know what Bitcoin is?" She's like, "No." I was like, "Okay,
What?
well, we're going to have a conversation." So we ended up talking. And after like 3 phone calls, she was finally like, "Look, dude, I'll just send you a JPEG and see what you can do." She sent it to me. It sold in 30 seconds. Shake Dude went and bought it. I
Nice.
PayPal'd her the money, and she was like, "Damn, all right, let me get drawing."
Hold
You
up.
know, and you know, she's working like at a convenience store and struggling to get by, and so that little money like really makes a big impact in her life. And more
100%.
importantly, she told me a couple of things. Like she said, I hadn't sold any art in a year, And then she also told me that when she used to be an artist, she would work for 20 hours on a painting and somebody would offer her $20. And I think that's just like that's a metaphor for the art world as a whole for a lot of artists. Like they really struggle to get appreciated for their art and get paid appropriately. And even if they are getting paid appropriately, they're generally splitting that with galleries and agents and all these other people, like taking a piece of the pie, you know. But yeah, so that was the first NFT I ever sold. But the first NFT I ever sold of mine was to Zeno, which is an excellent artist as well. And he has his own project, the Xenoverse, that's done really well. And he's a avid one-of-one art collector. And so that meant a lot to me. Because I put 5 pieces on auction and I only got one bid, you know?
The
Uh,
very first time.
yeah, the very
Okay.
first time. But that one bid was enough, you know? That one bid was enough to keep me going. And so, Zeno, if you ever watch this, brother, I appreciate you, man.
I was about to say,
But
what? I mean, what was that? I'm just like, what was that feeling? Because I haven't made an artist or not an artist. I made any art like that. Like it was it like one of those surreal, honestly, just like feelings? Like, I guess did you ever? You kind of mentioned it before. I don't know, but did you ever see yourself selling an NFT, like, and making money? You know what I mean? Like that one. Did you ever see yourself doing that?
no, no, not at all. No, I mean, even when I was painting, I never really thought I would sell my art. Like people kept saying, "Oh, you should sell those."
And
I
I
just thought,
apologize to ask with the painting. Was that I guess after you got out of jail, or was that beforehand? You were doing before.
after, yeah,
Strong and just, I guess I don't
yeah.
know the proper wording, but congrats, good for getting out and everything. You know what I mean? I don't know the proper terms, but keep doing your
Yeah,
shit. You feel
no,
me?
hey,
Um,
man, I did a lot of things I shouldn't have done, and I deserve to have a little sit down. I'll tell you that, I'm grateful. I think the prison system is terrible. I think it doesn't rehabilitate. The recidivist rate is awful, and we really, as a society, need to take a look at it. The United States averages, as of 2018, it was like 600 people for every 100,000 get incarcerated. And so that's 13% higher than the next country, which is El Salvador. So we are 13% higher than any other country. And when you look at the next country, El Salvador, I don't think anybody would ever been like, that's where I wanted to live. Before, maybe now, because they've adopted Bitcoin as legal tender, I think things are turning around there. But, like 2 years ago, you wouldn't have been like, yeah, let's go to El Salvador. I'm sure it's a great place, like no offense to people living in El Salvador, but they're just having a lot of issues. So I think that should say something. Like we are incarcerating just an entire wave of a generation of people, so many people, especially when you look at minorities and things of that nature. It is a racist system. And so if I'm offending people, I'm sorry, but that's just the reality of it. Is like we live in a system where, because I was in the cells with where 50% of the population within that cell are African American or Hispanic. But when I would go to treatment facilities, granted treatment facility instead of prison, I would go there and it'd be all white people. So it's like, well, where do all those other people with drug problems go that are of color?
yeah.
They're just getting sent to prison. They're not getting the chance to go to rehabs. So I think it's important stuff that we need to look at, and we need to address these issues because, you know, these are generations of people. Like these apply generational strongholds. And then those people's kids end up in prison, and the grandkids end up in prison. They become addicts, and you know, drug overdose deaths are rising year after year after year. So when you take the incarceration rates rising mixed with the drug overdoses rising, clearly it's not working. Like we need to do something different. So yeah, I know that was a whole nother tangent, but these are just things that I'm really passionate about, and I feel like NFTs are opening the door for me to be able to bring awareness of those things, and
One
those
hundred
are things
percent.
that I'm looking for in the future. But yeah, no, as far as the painting goes, yeah, I got out and I was just kind of like in a place where I had no idea who I was as a person, and I just wanted to find out who am I. And uh, yeah, I was walking by Hobby Lobby and saw the canvases and just said, yeah, I need to try that. The
Nice.
first painting I ever did was for my mother. It was a happy birthday painting, and looking at it is an eyesore. It is just not a pretty painting at all. It was terrible. Just not my finest work, but I feel like I get better and better and better and better. And that's what I love about it. I love being able to like try to master something, and I don't think as an artist we ever will feel like we mastered it, but it's fun to damn sure try. Like just say, watch yourself get better and then release more stuff and it get better. And yeah, it's been a fun journey. But yeah, when I first started selling NFTs, then I would say like really quickly, I was making more money than I was at my jobs. And so it was evident to me like really quickly, like,
There's something there. What's
yeah,
the creative, I guess, process like when you are creating it? Like, do you see? I guess because you kind of like you said before, you like having a blank canvas and having that vision there. Do you usually see, I guess, what your vision is, and then you're laying it that way, or is it sometimes you just go and then it does its thing? You know what I mean? What's your, I guess, process for
yeah,
making art?
that's a good question. I would really like to evolve as an artist where I can make more statements with my art. But if I'm being honest, at this point, when I really like try to set out and do something, it never seems to work out that well for me. When I make good art, it's when I just apply like automatism, and just go, and whatever just happens there happens. And so I do a lot of pour painting. So I'm mixing paint with pouring mediums, and then I'm pouring it onto the canvas. And it just kind of has a mind of its own. Like you can think you're going to control pour painting, but you don't. It's kind of like surfing. Like you can ride the wave, but you're not controlling the wave. Like you're just riding along as you can. But pour painting just has a mind of its own, and you just try your best just to use some beautiful bold colors, and then you never know how they're going to look by the time they're done. And it's awesome. I love that art form because I feel like anybody can do it. When I was 13, I would try to draw, and I had this art teacher, and they told me I was terrible. And
And well, fuck
I'll
you,
never forget that.
artister. Sorry, my bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Never forget that, man, because like a long time I was just like not ever gonna try to make art again. And so I think it's important that people know that there's so many forms of art and we are all artists. You just have to find what works for you. Um, some people can draw just amazing. Like, I see artists in this space, that I talk to on a daily level, like John Lay and Utopia and Tattoo Fingers, my friend. Like these guys are amazing drawers, and they can draw you anything. But I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that can get creative and take some colors and make them explode on a canvas and make some cool abstract art. That's just my thing. That's what I do. And yeah, that's kind of my method, my process is. And now, so the first pieces I was releasing were just plain. I just took a picture of the canvas and that was it. But
Okay.
now what I'm doing is I'm finding out how to use Procreate and Blender and Mirror Lab and these other softwares where it's like I can take those paintings and I'm doing some really cool digital stuff with it. So some of the pieces I've been releasing lately are so I have a collection right now on exchange.art called Where's My Mind? And each of the pieces are different, but they all kind of have this like these Rorschach images where like if you went to a therapist and they held up the thing and said, "What do you see?"
Mm-hmm.
You can find that in a lot of them. And there's like little hidden faces and just lot of little things where I just kind of wanted people to look at it and kind of have to second take and be like, "What is that I'm seeing?" And it's nothing like too definitive, but it lets your mind kind of make up the rest, and everybody might see something different. And then now I'm really playing with a lot of 3D modeling, like of taking the original
Oh, nice.
paintings and then putting them in like double panes and torus maps and all these things where I can really get funny with it. And it's fun. I gotta
Did
say,
you
it's a ton
did
of
you know
fun.
how to use some of those? I guess programs beforehand, or is it kind of just taking the initiative and learning how you go, or I guess how
I'm just
complicated? I've never used any of that stuff, and I guess that's what I was thinking as well. Like, because when you were saying like the pouring paint, one, I'm a visual person, so I was just seeing like the paint pour and like just visually like aesthetically pleasing. But then I was thinking, how I don't know if you did it like with again like Photoshop or anything like that, because that's the stuff. Like sometimes I feel like I ask dumb questions, but like I don't know. I feel like even if I have a question, like some YouTuber might be like, "Oh, why? What is this?" You know what I mean? So I guess was it hard learning that software? And I guess being an artist, is there certain software you think that you would have to know? Doesn't matter if it's in a Solana or Ethereum or anything like that. Just are there certain, I guess, again, I guess I forgot the word I was thinking of now, but I guess what is needed to get your art on there? You know, what programs is needed?
Hey, I mean, with NFTs, there's so many possibilities. I mean, you can do so
Yeah.
much. You can take. I mean, I'm seeing artists doing collage work. Just taking like old things and combining them together and making great sales. I mean, look at an artist like McNatt has had excellent sales recently just from making these physical pieces of like collage work and taking pictures of them. Or you can be purely digital on an iPad using Procreate. And there's so many brushes and tools you could use on there. There's so much you can do. You can use animated things. I mean, there's After Effects and all these 3D animation things that you can do. I mean, we're just scratching the surface of what we can do with these. When you go to like Nifty Gateway and some of these other NFT places, I mean, they've got some pretty intense stuff, like some almost video style NFTs of crazy art. Like it's nuts. Like I think Solana is in a place where we're still building. We're growing, our infrastructure is building. So there may be some things where we're a little behind Ethereum, but Ethereum's had 4 years head
Mm-hmm.
start on us. So um, yeah, a lot of the fine art is still on Ethereum, but I mean, every day artists are coming to Solana because they don't want to pay the gas fees and they want to have a fighting chance, Like Ethereum, there's so many artists all like I hear this all the time from people coming from Ethereum where they feel like they're like fighting with all the other artists to win. Whereas I feel like when you come to Solana, it's like we're all encouraging each other to win.
Mm-hmm.
And like I know a personal policy that I have is for every amount of sales that I get, I'm going to dump a percentage of that back into the ecosystem in terms of, one-of-one artists. I love to place bids on artists who've never, like a point 0.5 soul bid or a one soul bid is going to make a big difference for them. And so I love to do that. And also, if I can afford little profile picture collections of people that I support, then I like to do that as well. I'm currently saving, like right now, I'm saving for a Thugbird. I mean, it's not going to happen tomorrow, and it's not going to happen the day after that, but eventually I'll have one. And the reason is because when I look around, I see all of my artist friends rocking Thugbirds, and so why? And then you start to understand why. Well, because they're promoting culture, they're promoting art, they're promoting community. So, I love to pour back into the ecosystem. Um, Something that I do is, yeah, I don't really want to get on like a thing where I'm sitting here like trying to make myself seem like all great or anything, but I think it's
You're good.
important just to mention like I have a art studio in real life. So right before I quit my jobs, I got this art studio and I've opened it up to the public and I
Nice.
have free art classes there. So far, I've done 6 art classes and had anywhere from 10 to 15 people at them, or maybe even just 5 or 6. And nobody has to pay anything. All the paint, the canvases, everything's paid for. And
Strong, bro.
I pay for it out of pocket. But then I've also had some great donations from people like George and Bungill and other people, and they probably don't even want me saying that because they don't want that attention, but that's because that's the kind of guys they are. They'd rather do it behind the scenes, but I mean that's the reality. Like these collectors and these artists, they will bend over backwards. Like a guy like P-Nug, that dude will give you the shirt off his back, and that's the people that you encounter in this ecosystem. And man, if it wasn't for George and Ceylon and Toshi. I mean, let's not forget Toshi. That dude is a madman for the one-on-one arts right now. And what they're doing to support these artists, it's amazing. And then you've got collectives like the URS and Salon Institute of Art. When I first got in, the Salon Institute of Art Discord really helped me because I didn't even know how to get on Discord. I had to learn all that stuff.
What is that for artists? Because I kind of know overall what it is, but for like someone's listening and they're in tune to like, damn, like I want to know what it is. What is that? the Salon Institute of Art.
Yeah, it's a Discord that you can join, and they've got channels, and you can just, yeah, you can just hit up other
Start.
artists. Like when I first got in, P-Nug and Pink Skull Queen, like they were like holding my hand through it, to be honest with you. Like I didn't even know how to take a picture of my paintings. Like I didn't even know how to make a JPEG. I remember I said a prayer one day. I had vision to auction off some pieces, and I said a prayer. I was just like, let me just get 10 good JPEGs, like show me how to do this, and it worked. I figured it out. And once I figured it out, I was like, wow, that was really easy. I can't believe I made it that big of a deal. But yeah, artists like that, they were there for me. And they started the Salon Institute of Art Discord. And I haven't been in there in a long time because I'm terrible at Discord, but that was a good place for me when I first started. Um, and then the URS is like a collective of, a lot of artists. I think they have 77 artists, and
Nice.
right now they're building a profile picture collection that will consist of a crown and a backdrop, where each crown and each backdrop were made by the different 77 artists and then combined to make to a piece. And when you mint that piece, you'll get that, and it guarantees you airdrops of one-of-one art from each of the artists within the collective every month.
Nice.
So, I mean, it's a mind-blowing project of like promoting one-of-one arts. And I've been fortunate enough just to vibe with those people, like Chardy and those and Bub that started the URS. Like they were there from when I started, and we just networked. And yeah, so they're really cool places. So like any artists that are listening to this, yeah, just link up with these people. Um, uh, the other, the best other platform I can advise too is just Twitter Spaces. I preach this all the time. Twitter Spaces is where you really connect. Like I try to make an effort every day to go into the forum that Toshi started, and just vibe in the forum for a little while and meet people. And it's not a thing where you even have to come in and like shill your art. I'll tell you an embarrassing story. The first spaces I ever like showed my art, when I first figured out how to pin my stuff to the top, I went into a Thug Monkey space with NF Toley and Daniel. And I just started pinning stuff to the top. I requested to be a speaker and they approved it, and I start pinning stuff. And finally Daniel was like, "Hey bro, if you're gonna pin your stuff to the top, talk about it." And I was like, damn. But you know what, man? Thank God he said that, dude. Like he showed me the way, and then I started talking about it. And you know what? Daniel's collected multiple pieces of mine now, and
Nice.
I consider him a friend. So like I'm grateful for those learning moments. So definitely get into spaces. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to get up there as speaker, and like just vibe first, business second. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
think that's the ultimate philosophy of Solana. Just vibe first, business second. Like just get in there, make friends, contribute, uplift each other, help somebody, do all that. And yeah, people are gonna support you. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of people have probably bought my art just because I went into Twitter Spaces and they liked what I had to say, and they connected with me because I was willing to share my story, or because of my outreach stuff that I'm doing. Um, yeah.
What
So
made
I
you
highly
sorry to cut you off.
no, you're good.
You brought me thinking of the what made you start the I guess the art kind of thing that you're doing for free. Was that something I guess it was just like a like you said well, I don't think you said therapeutic, but like a therapeutic thing that you enjoyed, and you wanted to try and help other people like relieve stress, stuff like that, or I guess why did you start that?
I want everybody to understand that they are an artist, you know, especially children. I don't specify age at my art classes. I also donate digital goods like iPads and computers, stuff like that, and I don't specify age there either. But obviously, I do try to target children, just because I'd rather put some artistic thought processes or some artistic tools in the hands of a child or in the head of a child before they go down the paths that I went down. Because I remember being the 13-year-old guy that the art teacher said I sucked, and so I want to be the guy that tells them that they're awesome. And yeah, when you see a child do a pour painting for the first time and all those colors explode on the canvas and they're like, what? It's like, dude, that's priceless, man. It's better than any, better than a bag, a soul, that's for sure. You know what I mean? It's really important. And then I've also been super fortunate enough to, you know, donate iPads and Oculuses and things like that. And my mission is 1,000 digital items into the hands of kids who couldn't afford it otherwise, or just adults too. The other day I sent a Chromebook to somebody who's trying to open a Holoplex store, but they can't because they don't have a computer. So that's important because that could change their life. You know what I mean? Even if there's only a 5% chance that they're actually going to use that computer to change their life, I'll take that 5% chance over the 95% chance that I just lost $200.
Oh,
Because what's
100%.
$200? That's nothing. I could go sell another piece of art and get $200. Or
Changing a
hey,
life
let's
though,
be real.
that's life
In
changing.
Solana, I could go into the forum and be like, "Hey, man, I lost $200," and then next thing you know, somebody drop it in my thing. That's just how these dudes operate, man. There's just the men and women in this space are amazing. But yeah, so um, and a great story too is I was in a space one time talking about how I wanted to donate an iPad to this young girl, and I was like, man, but I don't quite have enough money to do it. And Lux AI, which is a project on Solana, which has some really cool art, the guy was like, yeah, I'll send it to you right now. Boom, $700 worth of soul in my Phantom. Boom, iPad ordered. Now this 13-year-old girl's over there drawing like crazy. And she's had a rough go of it. Like I met her like a couple times in her life, and she's struggling. So the fact that she has that now, like that could, you never know, that could change her life forever. It
Oh,
really could.
100%, bro. You
And
doing um I'm sure you've heard it, but you really are doing some great things, just even in that essence of it. Because, um, I mean, yeah, I mean, honestly, I remember the very first drawing that I did, which I like. I appreciated, you know what I mean? Because I never thought I was an artist, or anything like that. And even the two paintings behind me, that was literally, I have one and I have one in front of me where it was granted the only ones I ever did, but it was in high school, and like I appreciate it because it was, I don't know, it brought the creativeness out of me. Where at that time I was a jock, and I was just doing sports X, Y, and Z, and I I guess I had always had that creativeness, but like my cousin and one of the people in there, he was absolutely amazing at drawing. Like, Harley Davidson literally bought some of his stuff, just sketching it, just looking at drawing. And I was want to be like him because I'm like, dude, that's fucking great. Because everything I did looked like shit in that one. But and I guess kind of going off rain as well. But like that type of stuff and just helping people in general is just a testament of, I guess, of you. And I won't say, I guess, I don't know, I guess learning or anything like that because I don't know you at all. But in the essence of, some people won't do that, you know what I mean? Or they'll say that and they'll just be bullshitting a line and then pocket a bit. Like, I don't know. Again, I've never really met you anything like that. I've heard you on the Twitter Spaces, but you talk with Junior and it's real. So that I think people resonate with as well, and then as well with actually dope work. So honestly, just wanted to say, keep doing what you're doing, which I know you hear it, but like for real, just keep being you and keep doing your thing, bro. So I
yeah.
just want to say that on that. And then stuff that you're working on, because I kind of want to talk a lot about you, but you're wholesome as hell talking about everyone else as well. What stuff? What stuff do you have working on right now? Are you working on any projects, or
Yeah.
you said you have auctions
Yeah.
going on right now? Share the hell out
So,
about yourself. What you got?
so I've got a collection. Where's my mind on? I
Where's
just
your
dropped
mind?
5 new
Let me
pieces
see.
of that on exchange.art. Um, so
I don't know how to find it.
I've got a
I don't buy art. I'm broke.
I've got a banners collection that's on exchange.art as well. So I try to do some really low priced banners. So because I'm in those Twitter spaces all the time, and I come across people that are rocking like Google saved images as their banners, and it's just like, dude, it's not needed. Like I'll give you one for free. Like if you're gonna be rocking in this ecosystem, like do it right, but they don't
Mm-hmm.
know until you tell them. And so I'm the
Very
kind
true.
of person, I'll be like, hey, let me help you. Like I'll get you a banner, a custom one even, like so you're rocking right in the space, and people will respect it. But yeah, I've got, so my whole point with the art, I have a lot of low priced art. So you can get a Kid on the Phoenix piece for point 0.5 soul or 1 soul. And I think that's the opposite of what most artists want to do. They want to have scarcity and really high priced art because that's what collectors are looking for. And I understand that, and I do think it's valid. But it just isn't the journey for me. I'm here more to connect. I'm here more to build a grassroots movement. I'd rather have every single person on Solana have a Kid in the Phoenix piece in their wallet because they were able to afford it. Because most people are like me, they're not coming in with 70 soul to drop on a Rupture piece. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
that's just not realistic for them. But for 1 soul, for 0.5 soul, they can get one of mine. And I've already started to see collectors being able to flip my pieces for double the money too. So I still think you can make a lot of art for low prices, but still make room for collectors to be able to flip your stuff. Just like a PFP, you buy it for 1 soul and you turn around and sell it for 4 soul. You know, you made good money. So I want to, because I think it's important to note that I want my collectors to make money because they've invested in me as a person early on, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let them down. I'm
Mm-hmm.
5 years from now, or even just 5 days from now, I want them to be able to go, yeah, I made some money off investing in that dude, because I care about them, because I meet them like in these spaces, and I talk to them in DMs. Like they're nice people, they're my friends, like I want them to do well. But then I also, yeah, I'm just really passionate about getting my art out there. And so I do have a lot of art, like, it's lower priced, but I like it that way. I want it to be available to people, to everyone, people that are, especially because a few months from now, 6 months from now, tons of people are going to be jumping into Solana space,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not all going to have, tons of money. But I want to make myself available to them. And, but I do want to say that I have a really cool auction series that's coming up this weekend with another artist, Tattoo Fingers. I actually
Nice.
met him in real life. He did this tattoo on me.
Ooh,
Yeah.
clean. Oh, that's
Yeah,
actually
dude.
that's fresh, bro. That
Yeah,
literally looks like your actual logo.
it
That's
is. Yeah.
no, I mean,
He drew
I
my
guess
logo.
like he's talented. It's not like jaggedy lines or some shit. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
clean, bro. That shit's
yeah.
clean.
No, he's legit. He owns his own shop in where he lives, and he's been doing it for decades. Like, dude, the guy's got stories for days. I love it. You should have that dude on one day, man. He's cool.
I
But
might have to reach out.
yeah, I he did. I met him in on Twitter, and we just kept talking all the time. And he finally was like, "Hey, man, I'd love to draw you a logo." And I was like, "Cool, let's work on it." And so he drew that. We became more friends. I was like, "Dude, will you put this logo on me? Like, tattoo it on me." I was like, "I'll drive to where you live and go see you." And I met him. I met his kids. I met his wife.
Nice.
Man, they're amazing. His 9-year-old son has a Holoplex store and has done 6 pieces on auction. 9 years old. He drew
Ooh,
those pieces. I went and met this kid. I saw him talking about art, and I was like, dude, you need a
you got
Holoplex
it.
store with these drawings. And he's just getting started. Who knows what that kid's going to be doing when he's, grown up. But yeah, Tiny Drawings. Everybody go follow Tiny Drawings. But yeah, so we've got this collab collection coming up called the 100th Monkey. And it's really cool because 100th Monkey is like a urban legend slash like philosophical principle of, supposedly they took all these monkeys onto an island and they couldn't feed themselves, and they taught a couple monkeys, and those monkeys taught a couple monkeys, and for whatever reason, whenever that 100th monkey learned how to do it, they all knew how. And so it's like a metaphor for exponential growth. Um, and I feel like it's really relevant to the NFT and crypto space, the mass adoption that we're about to see with it. I think it's really relevant to each individual artist's journey as an artist, because sometimes it's a slow grind, but you can't give up before the miracle happens. You never know when your 100th monkey is around the corner.
100%.
Um, and so I really think it's a cool collection. So what we did was we took my crazy abstract backgrounds, and he drew this awesome realism monkey on it, and it's like reaching out towards this 8-bit coin. And each piece, so the winner of each piece will get the actual original background too. And then on top of that, every participant will get a participation NFT with the background and the coin rotating around. So it'll be two being auctioned on Saturday, two are going to be auctioned on Sunday, and then the final one will be auctioned on Monday. And the final one is animated, and it's pretty cool. The coin's spinning around, everything. He did some animation whiz on that one. But so yeah,
I think I
keep an
have it
eye out
up.
for that one. That'll be cool.
It's fresh. It's where's it gonna be held on? Where can people
The
find it?
auction will be on Holoplex. Yeah.
Heard
So,
that.
um, yeah, I haven't had the most success with auctions as an artist, so I kind of backed off of them for a little while and started focusing on collections. So exchange.art has been great for me. I will say mad props to A2K and Milst and Fubby and the team there. Like they are on point with what they're doing, building one-of-one art. But then also mad props to Holoplex. Like they have supported me since day one. Like,
Nice.
dude, it's been nuts. Like they have been there for me so much. And I'm actually an ambassador now at Holoplex, part of the Holo Collective, and I got to
Nice.
judge on their open pitch space today. So it's like it's crazy how fast these things happen. Like you can get where you want to go. Like 3 months ago, I was asking Holoplex for a job, like with no qualifications. I was like, I'm a 5-time felon, but I'll scrub your toilets for free. Give me a job, you know?
Hey, I'm
And
dependable, bro.
obviously they didn't want to give me a job then, but they had their eye on me, you know, and then they finally were like, look, dude, you're doing a lot in the space. We want you to be part of this team. And so now every day I make sure to help somebody get onboarded to a Holoplex store or show them how to do a collection on exchange or you know, and I'm listed on Magic Eden. You know, you can find me on there. I've been on all of these exchanges, so I can help people like you know, with what they got to do, how you get on them, and it's not easy, but everybody just needs somebody to help them out with that. But yeah, so you know, you can find me on. I've got pieces listed right now on Holoplex. I've got pieces on Exchange.art. I've got stuff on Magic Eden. Got this big auction coming this weekend, so a lot of stuff.
Nice. I guess kind of last question because we're gonna have to wrap it up. One, thank you
Yeah.
because I took you a little past the 30-minute marker on that one.
Yeah.
With the, I guess honestly, we did talk a lot, talked about a lot, and usually the last question is what you just told everyone you're gonna be doing. So thank you for that one. But was there any honestly like I guess points or anything that we haven't really talked about that you're really hype about, or just I guess want to let people know, or I guess anything
Yeah.
we haven't really touched on?
I would just say this. If you're sitting there wondering how to make it in life or in the Solana space, help people. You know, simple as that. Help people and see what happens. So, one last plug, I would say keep an eye out for the push-up challenge between me and Johnny Solana, you know, a Thug Bird himself. Me versus Johnny Solana, February 5th, live from Chicago. The loser has to buy an iPad for a kid. All
Oh, I
right.
like it.
The video, the video of the push-up contest then will be auctioned off as an NFT with 100% of the proceeds going towards buying another iPad for a kid. So it should be fun, and Johnny Solana better be training. That's
And
all I'll
is
say.
February 5th? You said it's going down.
February 5th,
All
live from
right,
Chicago.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, February 5th going down. The push-up challenge. Let's get it.
Yeah.
All right. No, I mean on that one, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah,
One,
brother.
kind of do honestly like I did before. I'm gonna mute up for here, but realistically, bro, thank you for coming on and take some time, and just showing some love on the podcast and telling us about yourself. So thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for everything you're doing here. Thank you for the Thug Birds and cook.
Yes, sir. Caw-caw. Stick around. I'll be right back with your big dog. Um,
All right.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you know what time it is. Thank you, everyone, for coming in, tuning in, showing some love. Again, it is your host, Gaddis TV. If you're not already, go ahead and hit a follow on Kid the Phoenix. Show some love and go ahead and look at the art that he's working on as well. Till next time, y'all, stay fresh, stay clean, stay positive. And you know what time it is, y'all. Caw-caw.